Yo! Welcome to the show, BroMob. We're your host, Chad and Brian. Today is Wednesday, August 5th. I'm feeling better. Brian's looking ugly as hell. And it's a great show today. We are live with our video. I hit record this time.
We're here. We did it. You did it. We did it. Take 53 because what?
Very random number.
That took way too long. I'm just going to tell you to get the video technology rocking and rolling technology going. Can we not do that every week? Is there a way we can dial this in and actually have it work properly?
No, it's always going to be an issue because I am an issue.
Yeah. Well, hey, we did it, man. It only took us this is episode 78. It only took us 78 tries. It only took us 78 episode tries to get video. But we're here finally. We thought we had it last week, but we're here. Look, if you don't get it the first time, just try 77 more times. And you got it. But now you get Chad's ugly mug, so first of all, this is where you're at, but really on my screen, I see you here, which is really, really weird.
I'm here, but I'm really in Wisconsin.
You're there. Yeah, you're there, and I'm here. And we're going on. Yeah, there's a lot. There's the hands, dude. BroMob, the hands are about to come out. I feel like Hogan. Let me tell you something. Like,
what do I do with my hands?
I don't know. Just put them here. That's just
right,
just on the chest.
Just on the chest.
I don't know.
All right, BroMob. A lot to go through. This is Sleepers and Bust episode. Super fun. Great information. We're going to hit you up with a couple of our sleepers and busts that we have in Key to the Title. BroMob, if you're not already a member of this, what are you waiting on? Key to the Title is live. It's out there. It's helping multiple people that are out there today who's already bought the product. Went out and they've already gotten compliments, Brian. We've gotten praise. Our friends have jeered us like they normally do, but at a nicely kind way. Key to the Title has been great. We've got player projections there. We've got sleepers busts like we're going to go over this week. We've got breakout candidates. We've got the red zone analytics, some advanced analytics out there. This thing is packed with information, Brian.
Yeah, it's so much better than going to like the gas station on the way to your draft and just grabbing a magazine. Like, can you imagine grabbing a magazine right now with all this opt-out stuff that's going on? You know, all these player opt-outs that we've had. So, you know, it's been like, you just don't even know what to expect. So we've had a lot of opt-outs. I want to talk about that for just a brief second. So I'm curious, Chad, what you think, like, who's the one player first of all, other than Clyde Edwards-Helaire and the Damian Williams drop that happened this week, which by the way, so BroMob, bring you up to speed. If you're listening or watching, Damian Williams has the running back for the Kansas City Chiefs opted out this year's season. So he's out for 2020. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the rookie that was drafted, who was already being looked at as a top, high-end producing RB1 type guy, it has catapulted in drafts. So huge upside for Clyde Edwards. Chad, other than that, who's the one holdout that you think opened the door or the opportunity for somebody else?
Well, hold on a second. So into Clyde a little bit more. He has moved up dramatically.
Yes.
We've moved him up. Brian, where are you putting him today? Where are you drafting him?
Well, he's currently in KT3. He's I believe we have him at RB8.
RB8, player 11 overall.
Yeah, I think he's I think I like where he's at right there. I think RB7 or RB8. I think of the running backs that you would probably take ahead of him. You know, the clear names I would say are going to be Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Zeke Elliott, Saquon Barkley. And then you get into some like what ifs. Well, I still would take Derrick Henry over him. I still would take, I would still take Alvin Kamara over him. So that's where like RB7, RB8, the question, Chad, and I know you're a huge fan. I'm a big fan too. Do you take Clyde over Josh Jacobs?
So it's tough, right? I mean, I love both, but I think that's kind of where he's at. It's like Josh Jacobs, Clyde,
Yeah.
Miles Sanders, Austin Eckler, Kenyon Drake, those guys, Joe Mixon, they're kind of all in that same little mix, that next tier.
Yes.
And that's where he is now.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's one of two. I think you're kind of safe taking him or Jacobs. I think the risk and reward are about the same. Clyde's got everything ahead of him. Like, you look at the rookie season, you think back to like Kareem Hunt when he was drafted. Kareem Hunt was, I believe, the RB, finished his rookie season as the running back 4 on the season.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then you look back at some of these other rookies in their first years, like Zeke Elliott and Saquon Barkley. Those guys finished as the RB2 on their rookie season. So he's on the best team, arguably, for fantasy. Great situation. He's going to catch a lot of balls out of the backfield. And they don't seem to be really interested in signing veteran talent to kind of fill the role of Damian Williams, at least not yet. And so
Freeman's still out there.
Yeah, Freeman's still out there, but I don't think they're going to do it. Look, they spent a first-round draft pick on this kid. He was handpicked by, I don't know, the owner of the Kansas City Royals, by the way. So, I think if you're handpicked by that guy in Pat Mahomes, and then Andy Reid wants you, and now you have everything ahead of you, I just don't see any reason why he's not going to get a very large workload, even if they do a veteran.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. But other than that, Brian, I would say another rookie, Jalen Reagor of the Philadelphia Eagles in my eyes. So Marquise Goodwin opting out for the season. And then on top of that, Deshaun Jackson with some questionable comments over the offseason, possibly getting some fines, maybe even some more punishment from the team. We don't know yet. But if Deshaun Jackson doesn't pan out with the team, Jalen Reagor on the Philadelphia Eagles is looking like he is the only whiteout there. I mean, JJ Arcega-Whiteside is still there. I get that. But he was terrible last season. He had under 50% catch rate, stone hands, dropping balls left and right. So he could improve, but I don't know about that. And then Alshon Jeffrey not looking like he's going to start the season. So Jalen Reagor really starts the season off as a possible wide receiver 1 on a team that loves to throw the ball deep. He's a deep threat. He reminds me of Percy Harvin. Deep threat in general. They're going to use him a whole bunch, and then they're going to need to throw the wideouts because you have to. So I'm a big fan of Reagor so far.
Yeah, Chad, I don't disagree with you at all. I like Reagor. I also like Dallas Goedert in this situation. I see the Eagles probably starting the season with a lot of tight end exposure. Obviously, Zach Ertz is always going to get his targets, but don't discount what Dallas Goedert can do in this offense. He's a very dynamic tight end. Has some rapport with Carson Thank you, Carson Wentz, and so I think there's an opportunity for him to get a lot of targets to start the season, and he could be a sleeper tight end, especially for streaming purposes to start the season.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Goddard as well. I don't even know if it's just a streamer opportunity. He could just be, this team could have 2 top 12 scoring tight ends in both Ertz and Goddard this year. It's a lot of potential.
So another guy that, while we're on the topic of tight ends, and then we can digress here, is we had another wide receiver opt out of the season today, actually, in Hearns out of Miami. So, with Hearns out, what do you see this catapulting a wide receiver, or do you see this more in the park of a more target share for Mike Gesicki at tight end?
Yeah, I just don't think it was much of a problem to begin with. I think Preston Williams had the clear wide receiver 2 spot taken. I think Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant are both there for that speedster slot role. And then they got Mike Gesicki there, who really showed what he could do at the end of the season last year.
Yeah.
So I don't think Hearns makes a difference. I was already excited, and I still am.
Yeah, I'm with you. Mike Gesicki is, I would say, is a huge sleeper late draft candidate for me this year. I'm really into Mike Gesicki in Miami this season.
Yeah, same here. All right, let's move on, Brian. A little bit of news here from the BroMob perspective, or the Fantasy Football Bros perspective. We got a new writer, Zach Kaminsky, at Juan Football, Juan Fan Football, and is his Twitter handle. He's simply awesome. I mean, he's putting out some solid content out there. He's talking about tight ends, whether or not you should be drafting them mid round. He's talking about what you need to be doing, or what you shouldn't be doing, rather, at your draft day. Get out there, check out our articles on the fantasyfootballbros.com. You can see it right down below me here. You can see his brand new articles. He's pumping them out pretty quick, and he's awesome, man. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to have you on the staff here, Juan. Also, Chad, you posted something this week, killed me when I saw it. Didn't consult with me at all on this, by the way.
Zero.
Very violated that you didn't. I feel like as pres of the company, you should at least run these ideas by me. But the Bill Belichick Sandwich Championship bracket. Tell me more about this.
So, as you know, BroMob, over the last week, there has been some spicy salami news out there of Bill Belichick eating a sandwich on a bench. Very, very hot photo of him. I got bothered, that's for sure. And then he was interviewed, and it seemed as if, for no reason, he just decided to say that I love sandwiches in it, kind of unprompted. So, without further ado, I created the Bill Belichick Sandwich Championship bracket. 16 sandwiches, single elimination. Voters are live on Twitter right now voting for the sandwiches that Bill Belichick would approve of. So, Brian, we got sandwiches out there like peanut butter and jelly. We've got grilled cheese. We've got Reuben's, Philly cheesesteaks, pulled pork sandwiches.
Okay.
You name it, the sandwich is probably on there. And there's some upsets already. Brian, you and I, we love an Italian beef. It is currently losing pretty hard.
It's stupid. Look, I tell you right now, it's stupid. I can't believe that somebody would vote against an Italian beef, especially if it's got hot peppers and it's been dunked and dipped in au jus sauce. Like, how dare you? As a matter of fact, I got to go on it. Can I vote more than once, or is this a one-time vote thing?
This is a one-time vote.
I'm creating more accounts.
You want to make numerous accounts and vote from.
Absolute, pardon my French, absolute horseshit. I can't believe that Italian beef what's it getting beat by? Don't tell me something stupid.
Pulled pork.
Pulled pork. Come on, man. Look, I love me a pulled pork, but that's this. I can't believe it. We need to move on.
All right, moving on, BroMob. We're gonna get into the show here, but first, be sure to follow along after the show by following us on Twitter and Instagram at FFBros. And then also go on TikTok. I mean, we're still on TikTok so long as it's still around. We're at Fantasy Football Bros on there. Search the ever so valuable hashtag BroMob. I think I messed up before with my Twitter and Instagram handle. That is at FFBros Podcast. Forgot that. Hashtag mistakes. Hashtag forgive me, please. Brian's hashtagging galore over there.
I got you, Holmes.
Be sure to check out our website, thefantasyfootballbros.com, for all kinds of news, articles, and so much more. Brian, I think we got some new fancy dancy thing that you've created. Can you dig into that a little bit?
Yeah, real quick, and we'll get on to the show. So head over to fantasyfootballbros.com. There we have subscribe to our newsletter. We have a new newsletter that hits your mailbox it's a weekly newsletter called The Pick Six. And every week it's the top 6 stories of fantasy football delivered right to your inbox. There's no spamming, just a lot of good info. Also, no mercy, Chad says. Chad wanted me to say no spamming, no mercy, which is exactly what it is. So, head over to thefantasyfootballbros.com, put your email address in on the main page. It's right on the right-hand side. Email address, submit, and you're going to get the pick 6 to your email box every week.
Thank you, Brian. All right, BroMob, without further ado, let's get into our sleeper pick.
Sleepers.
All right. God, I love this. I absolutely love everything about this video option here. Brian, I'm going to hand the reins over to you to talk a little bit of this guy that I know you're a big fan of. So without further ado, let's talk about Hunter Renfrow.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Now, hey, you shut your butts. All right. We got Hunter Renfrow. Jesus H. I can't even speak English right now. Hunter Renfrow. It's a really tough last name to say, man. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, super hard.
All right, so wide receiver of the newly Las Vegas Raiders. I didn't mess that up. Look, I love Hunter Renfrow for a lot of reasons. I think he's a great sleeper candidate. There's really not a lot of options to throw to on that team, number one. Number two, he was a great breakout towards the end of the season. I'm going to read you some stats really quick. And while I read you, I'm just going to spit them at you. So he busted onto the scene in late 2019. Here's what I mean by that. So on the year, if you look at his total season stats, it's a little deceiving. 49 receptions, 605 yards, 4 touchdowns on the year. However, if you dissect, so number one, he was on a pace to do 60 receptions, 745 yards, 5 touchdowns on the year. However, if you dive in a little deeper, you dissect it a little bit, kind of cut it up, dissect, pull it apart. Here's what you find. Give it a chop. All right. Here's what you find. You find that in that span, he played 13 games and put up 605 and 4 touchdowns. But if you look at the 13 games, in 7 of those 13 games, he recorded 35 receptions, 35 receptions, 490 yards, and those 4 touchdowns came in the last 7 games. Okay, so this was a late season breakout. So if you take those numbers, here's where I get really excited. Okay, I'm getting really in depth. If you take those, I thank you. I get excited about my stats, man. If you look at these numbers, you take those numbers over 7 games. He did this, guys. If you run those out over the course of a season and you give it a full year breakout, it's 80 receptions for 1,120 yards and 9 touchdowns, 1 billion targets. So not quite. 80 receptions, 1,100 yards, and 9 touchdowns. So it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, Brian. I'm a huge fan of Hunter Renfrow, mainly because of that fact that you mentioned. For those from week 8 onto his injury, that 35 receptions on 45 targets for 490 yards and 4 touchdowns was a phenomenal pace. I mean, he was looking great. They're really showing potential there with, thank you for sneezing, multiple sneezes. It was really looking good with Derek Carr on that offense. So he had 84.5 percentage of, I can't even speak right now, 84.5%, Brian, of his targets were catchable. And that was good for 7th best in the league. That's what you're going to get with Derek Carr. I mean, he's an accurate quarterback. He's not a flashy guy, but he's going to throw you a catchable ball. And Renfrow is kind of like the perfect combination for that. Like, he is a very good slot guy. He's going to be able to get those catches. He's going to be open for Derek, and he's going to throw it to him. So I'm a big fan. Henry Ruggs is going to be there to take the safeties away. And that's really going to open the middle of the field. Even with Darren Waller there too, now defenses have to account for that because now they understand who he is. Yep. Renfrow is bound to feast, and he's virtually being undrafted right now, Brian. So I'm a big fan.
Absolutely. No, I'm with you.
Yeah. You should be with me.
Nope. I'm out. I'm not with you anymore.
Taking it back. I don't do what you tell me to do. All right. BroMob, the next sleeper we got here. One of my favorites, Miami, Darius Geis himself. Driving his space vehicle through space-time right there in the digital realm. Don't know why. No footage of Darius Geis at all. That.
Nope. It's a much better clip, to be quite honest with you. You could have had a little figurine of Darius Geis running down the road. That would have made a lot of sense. Figurine. Why does he run like this? I don't know, but he does.
Why is he a figurine? Very confused.
All of it.
Brian, taking you out of the equation. Here I am. BroMob, Darius Geis, one of my favorite players if he can just stay healthy. Last year, he had 42 carries in 5 games, averaged 5.83 yards per carry on those 5 games, and 11.29 yards per reception. Can't speak today. Yay. Look, listen, the team has Adrian Peterson there. They went out and they drafted Antonio Gibson, who's a very large guy. I mean, I think he's 226 pounds, 5'9" or something like that. So he's a big guy. And that's really just insurance for Darius Geis's health. So the reality is Darius Geis last year was able to create 3.3 yards per touch, which was good for the second best in the league when he's in the league. That's how dynamic this guy is. If we remember 2 years ago when he was drafted with Saquon Barkley, people were salivating over Darius Geis and what he could offer. and that he was essentially the poor man's Saquon Barkley in fantasy football. He could still be that on this offense. He could still be that player. He just needs to stay healthy. They got a new training staff in there. They got new coaches. Hopefully that stuff can stay good going forward. Because I love seeing stats like the 3.3 yards per touch. He also had a plus 38.7 production premium, which, just to kind of get into that a little bit, the production premium is the average production or the production grade to the average can't even speak, to the average rollout of players in the league. So basically the zero is average. Anything above that is better. Anything below that is below average. That's what I'm getting at. Science.
English.
Darius Geis. Darius Geis was good for plus 38.7, which was good for, again, the second best in the league. So he's one of the most productive backs in the league, both on the ground and through production. So I'm all in on that. He's getting drafted in the 6th round right now, and he's a possible running back 1. Could be a top 15 producing running back. Go for it. I'm going for it.
Yeah, I love Geis. I do see Adrian Peterson being there as a little bit of a thorn in his side for, I guess, the short term. But at the end of the day, you're still going to have Darius Geis. He's a very young running back. Adrian Peterson's 35 years old. And so I do think that at the end of the day, Darius Geis is the guy you want to own on this offense. And I think Adrian Peterson is more of the handcuff at this point.
Yeah, the thing is, when Darius Geis was healthy, Adrian Peterson was a healthy scratch from the offense in those games.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried about Peterson, but not overly worried.
Yeah,
he's all in.
Yeah, I'm not overly worried. And I also like the reception capabilities that Darius Geis has at his fingertips, because if you look at Peterson and Thompson and what they did together last year, like you said, 59 receptions, that's 500 yards and a touchdown through the air. If Geis can get his hands on half that, that's additional PPR value that you can grab.
Well, I mean, we saw what he can do in that first game back.
Yeah.
From injury, right? I mean, one catch at the end of the game there, he broke that off for 45 yards and a touchdown on just one catch. So he has that capability of just being an explosive monster.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Brian. That is it for the sleepers. Let us get into our bust.
Busts.
Oh,
best drops in the business, man. It's not like, it's not like we paid somebody a lot of money to do them either. Clearly
$4.
We did not.
No.
Just busts. All right. Well, I'm going to take the lead here. You know why? Because I want to. Right. Before I do, I just want to mention, you can find, we're only giving you a couple of sleepers and busts here, BroMob. You can find a full list of our sleepers and busts at keytothetitle.com. So make sure you head over to keytothetitle.com for all kinds of sleepers, busts, all that good stuff. Links right underneath us here. And then again, for you listening, keytothetitle.com. All right. So bust, here we go. One guy, and I know this is going to get a lot of flack when I say this guy. Can't wait. Bring it. So ready. I will backhand. All right. So Melvin Gordon, Commissioner, Commissioner Gordon himself, running back now of the Denver Broncos, signed a 2-year deal with the Denver Broncos, Chad. And so by signing this 2-year deal, the first thought was that, okay, well, he's going to have to be in a timeshare with Philip Lindsay. And that's the big scare here. And the reason he is a potential bust this season, to be quite honest, is because of the Philip Lindsay situation. It's a serious threat to Melvin Gordon's carries for 2020. Philip Lindsay's not a running back. He's a very good running back. He's not, I would argue he's not a Melvin Gordon, but I think he's a very good running back. And I do think the team's going to have them very involved together. The guy that had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, and he's very familiar with the team's offense. So don't think that Melvin Gordon's going to come in here and be a bell cow right off the bat. However, Melvin Gordon does come from a team where 2 backs can be successful. We saw that last year. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see that be a similar situation this year. However, I do think Gordon's going to have a worse season this year than he did last year. Here's one thing to consider, though, and I will throw this out there for a lot of the fantasy truthers of Melvin Gordon. The team did pay him. Okay, so he signed a 2-year deal. So over 2 years, you're talking $16 million. He'll make $7 million this year to Philip Lindsay's $750,000. So if you do follow the money would tell you that Gordon's going to get fed. But I'm just telling you that production is going to be different. It is going to be more of a timeshare. They are going to be worked in certain drives. So that's the fear as far as what we see. Also, you look at his production. Gordon really wasn't as productive last year as one would believe. 3.8 yards per carry last year, Chad, with a very dynamic offense. And really, it's just I don't really see that being much different. He averaged about 13 and a half carries a game last year. And I think that's probably about what you're going to get this year, 13 to 15 carries. And I think Philip Lindsay's probably somewhere between 7 and 12 carries.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I mean, I do think this team's going to run the ball a lot. But I think the 13 carries or 14 carries or whatever it may be is a very good projection for Melvin Gordon on a per game basis. And I actually think that Philip Lindsay gets closer to like 12 carries because I see the team running it 25 times a game. So Philip Lindsay and Melvin Gordon, almost a 50-50 split. I honestly and truly believe that's a reality for this offense. And if that's the case, Melvin Gordon is not going to be very productive. He's one of those backs he needs that time to build up momentum and get better throughout the game. Because when you saw him 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when he was going absolutely bonkers with all those touchdowns and everything, big plays, he was getting 20 20 touches in a game. He's just not that anymore. And maybe it's not that he's not that, but teams aren't going to give him that anymore because the NFL's changing. They're looking at more split backfields to keep backs healthy so they can make playoff pushes. I'm not sure that the Denver Broncos are going to be a playoff team this year, but you know what? They're going to use their team like they're going to. Vic Fangio is a smart enough coach to know what he's doing there. And last year we saw that with Philip Lindsay and Royce Freeman splitting the backfield, which, by the way, Royce Freeman is still there. I don't care if you think that he's not good or if he's anything, but I mean, he's still there. And the funny thing is, Royce Freeman had more catches than Philip Lindsay did in the backfield last year. There's a little interesting statistic. So Freeman could come in there and spell it as a third down back every once in a while. And he could also steal those red zone touches from Melvin Gordon from time to time. So Melvin Gordon, who's kind of going in the third and the fourth round right now, I'd rather go with somebody like with high upside, somebody like a DK Metcalf there. I do love him. I've mentioned it so many times. But a DK Metcalf there, you could grab a different running back like a Mark Ingram later who has the same type of potential that Melvin Gordon does. I mean, I think Mark Ingram's going in the 5th or the 6th round right now. And it's the same back, essentially. So,
yeah, I'm
not much.
I'm with you on that. And so I just think Melvin Gordon presents a lot of opportunity, but also a lot of risk.
Yep. So, all right, Brian, I'm going to move in here to a little guy named Stefon Diggs, wide receiver of the now Buffalo Bills. So, Stefon Diggs, listen, I'm not going to fight against his production, right? I mean, he is a wide receiver that really knows how to separate from a cornerback and get open for his quarterback. The problem is he's been playing with a pretty accurate quarterback in Kirk Cousins over the last years, who's averaged 240 yards per game. He averaged 29 attempts per game, which I mean, he was completing 20 of those attempts in those same games. So, I mean, Kirk Cousins was accurate. He was throwing it a ton, even on an offense that tend to run the ball more than people assumed. And now he goes to the Bills, where he's got Josh Allen, who only threw the ball 461 times in 2019. I mean, 461 times is nothing in the NFL now. When you got quarterbacks that are throwing for over 600 attempts in a season, you got Dak Prescott, who's throwing for 590 attempts. When you got Derek Carr, who's throwing it for 520, 530 times. I mean, with an offense with nobody to throw to. So Josh Allen only throwing that many times, being less accurate. I mean, he only threw it 28 times a game, only completed 16.9 of those passes per game, which is significantly less than what Kirk Cousins was throwing. and he only averaged 193 yards per game. So passing. So that's nothing. And when you take into account John Brown, who's a good receiver, he's not as good as Stephon Diggs, but he's good. Cole Beasley, who is a great slot reception kind of artist type of guy there. He's going to move the chains. Devin Singletary, who's bound to get used in the passing game even more this year than he was last year. And then finally, Dawson Knox at the tight end position, kind of erupting and not erupting, but kind of blossoming into that tight end one for the team. Stephon Diggs really doesn't have as many targets as what he had there in Minnesota. As a matter of fact, I think I have him kind of slated out at close to 100 targets, maybe even a little bit less, Brian, and coming at like 70 receptions on the season, which is kind of what he does every year, aside from less targets, right? I mean, so if he's getting 70 receptions, he's probably going to get somewhere around 800 or 900 yards receiving. Stephon Diggs is basically going to be a 20-something wide receiver like he usually is. But the problem is people see him in a new opportunity. They think he's going to kind of burst into this new type of guy who's like, I'm on a new team, time to prove something. Brian, I think I've said it before. With wide receivers, I don't like them going to new situations, to new teams, new offensive schemes, especially this year with COVID. There's been no time for him to really build chemistry with his new quarterback and Josh Allen. There's been no time for him to learn the offensive playbook and the ins and outs of it. There's been no time for him to get into game shape like normal. So I worry about injury because he has had them in the past. I worry about that chemistry connection between his new quarterback. And I just really worry about opportunities on this offense. I don't see it.
Well, and I think too, you've said a couple times, and I agree with this wholeheartedly. If you look at the statistics, it's very overwhelming in this favor. But first-year wide receivers on a new team and a new system always seem to struggle a bit. And so, and then you add into it, like you said, 461 passing attempts in 2019, only averaging 193 yards per game in passing. I do think that takes a step forward a bit, but we're not going to go from, at least I don't see it. I don't think we're going from 460 passing attempts to 600. No. It's likely we go from 460. It's likely that we go from 460 to 500. I don't even think we get to 550. So that presents a lot of risk to Diggs. I do think Stefon Diggs is going to have games where he goes berserko, right? But it's going to be a very volatile season. He'll probably stat out and finish as a top 20 wide receiver. But it's going to be a rough road along the way. That's my fear.
See, I don't even think he's a top 20 guy. I think he's a top 30 wide receiver. I can see him statting out somewhere around like the 25th or 26th wide receiver. And that's just too low for a wideout who's going in the 4th and 5th rounds. Why? Right? I mean, why would you even bother? Take the higher upside. Diggs is not the upside for you.
Yeah, no. I mean, I get that. Absolutely.
Yeah. If you were to compare Stefon Diggs to a sandwich, Brian, what would it be?
Be a slider.
I
don't know.
Please elaborate. Elaborate, please.
He's quick. He's quick, shifty, and sliders are small, so they're quick and shifty into the mouth and gone. Slide right in, done. Diggs, Stefon Diggs, small. I don't know if he's not a super big receiver, fast, shifty, and quick, done.
No idea.
It's the first thing I thought of. Okay, so you asked me. This was not prompted. I didn't get the time to prepare. I have no stats to back it up, so I went with slider.
Nope. I don't even know if a slider is a sandwich. Is a burger a sandwich?
It's absolutely sandwich. It's meat between two buns. Just because it's a mini sandwich doesn't mean it's not a sandwich.
Hold on. You can't use the meat between two buns argument because that means a hot dog's a sandwich and it's not a sandwich.
First of all, a hot dog is not actual meat. It's like this created weird thing. It's like stuff. It's all kinds of different stuff like hair and teeth and just guts smashed into a tube. Yeah, there's like teeth ground up in there. It's not real. Unless it's a hot dog from the baseball part. Unless it's a baseball park hot dog and I'm actually watching baseball, it's not. I don't even want it.
Let's say it's a brat. Okay.
I eat it.
Call that a sandwich?
I would call it a brat.
Yeah, exactly. So a burger is not a sandwich.
Yeah, but
You go to a restaurant and you look at the menu. Did they separate it between sandwiches and burgers?
but if you go to a sandwich shop and they have burgers, then it's technically a sandwich because it has a sandwich shop.
But they still on the menu separate over into burgers.
Yeah, because it's a subsection of a sandwich.
Burger.
It's like sandwiches subsection burger.
No.
Yeah, I would say a hot dog's in that category too. Subsection hot dog, subsection Italian beef.
Digging a hole.
I mean, it's a good hole.
I'm calling him. I calling Stefan Diggs a egg salad sandwich because I don't like him. I don't like the sandwich. I don't like him. He's an egg salad sandwich. Stinky.
You know what I do like is I do like a good pasta salad.
What? Just pasta salad in general?
Yeah, now I'm hungry. So I'm ready to eat. Okay. Good old sandwich. Oh, I get Italian beef and a pasta salad. Ooh. And a chocolate cake.
Ooh. Chocolate cake or tiramisu?
Tiramisu every time. Tiramisu every time. Every time.
There's nothing that beats it.
Tiramisu or chocolate molten lava cake.
Tiramisu.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
I gotta go tiramisu.
Chocolate molten lava cake.
Too much of a fan.
Yeah, it depends on what I'm feeling. But it's one of those that's like 50-50. That's the close one. That's the really close one. By the way, have you ever had salted ice cream? This is something new to me. So I was in Denver 2 weeks ago and we had salted caramel ice cream and it was mind blowing. It blew my mind. My mind gone. Okay. Mind blowing. Salted. It was so salty and so sweet. And it was like explosion in my mouth.
It's a very good explanation. Sorry, I'm mid drink of a nice
adult beverage
cocktail there.
Yes, adult beverage live on the screen. All the kiddos that listen to our show to see that we're very responsible.
Yes. Very, very responsible.
Which we're not.
No. All right, BroMob. That is going to. I'm not even going to entertain the salted caramel thing, Brian. I'm just going to let you bask in the fact that you just now realize that a salted caramel ice cream exists. So I'm going to let you just kind of live that moment. BroMob, that is it for this week's show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining into our live video here, Brian. I'm sorry for Brian's face. It is what it is. There's not much we can do about it. Not enough funding, really, to take care of that. So be sure to tune in every Monday to stay up to date on the fantasy football world and to gather any insights on how to dominate your fantasy football leagues.
That's right, BroMob. And make sure, we've been talking about it a lot, and you've been hearing about it a lot. Key to the title.com. Head over there. $14.99. The best. Chad guarantees it. The best fantasy football kit, draft kit that you will buy this year. You'd spend $15 to $20 on a magazine anyway. You probably you go to McDonald's, get a cheeseburger meal, and it comes out to like $12.99, $13.99. Okay. Magazine, McDonald's, and a whiskey bottle, easily $40. Coca-Cola, easily $30. $14.99. Guess what you get? You get me, and you get a little bit of Chad.
Championship.
$14.99. Key to the title.com. Head over there right now. Enjoy. You're gonna love it.
BroMob, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FF Bros Podcast. And be sure to check out our website, thefantasyfootballbros.com, for all kinds of articles, rankings, and so much more. Check out, join thebromob.com, become an official BroMobster. Give us a little bit of help there to help Brian's ugly face so that you guys can see something a little bit prettier. We're always open. All of the BroMobsters out there today, we want to thank you for all of your kind donations, all of your help with the show. It's not helping much with Brian, but it's helping elsewhere. It's helping us get these live videos going. So thank you so much. All right, BroMob, we will see you next week.
Oh, my face. Bye, everybody.